Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be about how you can increase your damage by weaving or light attack weaving. Now a lot of noobs don't know about this, a lot of newer players, so I just want to explain it to them. So for the newer players, a lot of times what you'll see is them trying to get a lot of damage by just casting a spell over and over. They pick a good spell like Force Pulse and they just use it as much as they can. However, there's a lot better way to do this. You can see I was doing about maybe 14,000 damage there. So if I go ahead and reset the combat dummies, they'll go ahead and reset for me here. Now, what I'm going to be doing is explaining what light attack weaving is. So we saw we pulled around 13.5 thousand damage there at the very top of the screen, right above the compass. Let's go ahead and light attack, and I'm just going to go ahead and do an example of what it looks like. You can see how I'm shooting a fireball in between each one of my skills, and my damage went from 13 all the way up to about 23 right now. 22. Okay, so you can see that you gain a lot of damage from this strat. Now, what is it exactly? Well, you can see this is just clicking. This is your Fire Staff light attack. Just by clicking and then casting an ability right after it, I almost do one after the other. You can see I have mouse 4 as my spammable button for my Force Pulse here. Right here. Force Pulse, I'm spamming this. So what I do is I click to shoot, and then I cast this right after. So 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, just like that. Boom 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 boom. And for each different skill you kind of find its timing, right? So let's say you're not using Force Pulse. Let's say you want to use the Necromancer skill, the skull that I have right here in the beginning, Ricochet skull. I'm going to go ahead and it's probably around the same timing, so let's go ahead and try it. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and let's try and go a little bit too fast here. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You can see when you go too fast, it messes up and you get out of sync and everything. So let me go ahead and drink a potion here. I can even switch my food for this, make it go, make my regen go up a little bit. So for all these light attacks and these skills, there's a perfect timing, and in order to get them down, you really have to practice. A lot of people are like looking at builds and they're like, okay, I'm going to cast this spell, and then I'm going to cast this spell, and then I'm going to switch bars, and then I'm going to cast this one, and then I'm going to switch bars and cast this one, and then I'm going to cast this and do a light attack, and I'm supposed to do that again, and it's just really confusing. And what happens is newer players will tend to do less DPS. So you really just kind of want to simplify it as much as you can when you're newer. Make sure you're getting these kind of rotations down. So get this down first. Let's say Force Pulse is your spammable, which is a lot of the case. For most Magicka users, you'll be using this Force Pulse ability. So just sit here and count in your head. Go 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 until you get this down, and you want to keep going. You see how I missed a light attack there, so I went too fast. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So again, you want to count your clicks, not what you hear, right? So I'm going 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. That's how I cast the abilities. It sounds like 1 2 1 2, but when you're actually using your skills and you're casting, you need to click the skill at the right time interval, not hear it go off at the right time interval. So I'm 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You can almost click your light attack here and then your skill immediately right after with this Fire Staff. So boom 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 boom. You see I casted it too fast that time. I didn't get my light attack off. So that's kind of what I was here to explain, guys, about this weaving, how it works. You just really need to get in front of one of these dummies. A lot of people have them in their house. Just get in front of a dummy and just cast 2 spells, or even 1 spell. Your spell and your light attack right here. Boom boom, and then just do this over and over until it looks something like this right here. right? And then after you get this down, what you can start doing is incorporating other skills into the mix, right? So for Magicka users, a lot of the times you'll see this skill, Blockade of Fire, or Elemental Blockade as it's known in the Destruction Staff right here. See, these two skills are great skills for Magicka users in the Destruction Staff. So what you do in the beginning is you lay this down, and while that's dealing damage, 1 2 1 2 1 2, just over and over, and then okay, it's about to come back up. Now after you get the hang of weaving, you can do it with anything. Look, I can light attack cast this wall, and I could do this over and over. You can hardly even see my fireball going off, but 1 2 1 2 1 2, right? So you can do it with any skill. You just need to understand the timing, right? So instead of recasting this over and over, what you do is you cast it once and then go back to your force pulse spam, right? So I'm gonna light attack wall, light attack force pulse, then do force pulse maybe 6 times, and then go back to do my wall once, right? So it's called light attack weaving, and you do it with everything. So let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. Let's do the wall first, and then the force pulse. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, my wall's down. Light attack wall. Keep going. Okay, my ult's up. Light attack ultimate. Go back to that force pulse spam. Okay, my wall's coming down. Light attack wall. Light attack force pulse. Over and over and over and over and over. And then while you're doing this, you can activate a potion. You know, that's why I really like a mouse with 2 side buttons, and I'll show you here. I use these 2 side buttons where my thumb is to click, and then I use my thumb. So I don't even have to. You can see my other hand's up here. I can still weave with this hand. And I'm like, okay, I need a potion, right? Let me actually get on my potions here. So I can hit my potion without interrupting my rotation, my main rotation. And then of course I use other, my keybinds are weird. I wouldn't recommend copying them, but perhaps put some of your skills on your thumb there. So now you can get really creative. If you look at my Vma setup here, this is for veteran maelstrom. I use this a lot. I have my back bar, I have this damage, I have this damage. These are both what you call dots, damage over times. And so I'll cast these once every, and you can see the duration, once every 16 seconds. This one, once every 8 seconds. Okay, so those 2 are damage. Let's go to my front bar. This is damage. This is my spammable, so I can cast this over. This is basically a fill slot, right? So while I'm not reapplying my dots, I'm going to be using this. And I have this dot. So you'll see when I start a fight, I'll light attack and I'll use this skill, and then I'll light attack and I'll use this skill, because those are both damage over time. I layer those right on top of each other, right? So let's see what it looks like here. I light attack fire, light attack bone, okay? And let's see how much damage I'm doing right now. It looks about 14. That's 14,000 damage, and I'm just sitting here talking to you. Okay, let's get it back up real quick. Switch bars, and switch bars again. I'm still maintaining 10,000 DPS, and my hands aren't even on my keyboard, you know? So these are very, very strong skills. You see a lot of newer players can't even manage 10,000 DPS, 15,000 DPS, 20,000 DPS. It's really easy when you start paying attention to like what you're putting down. So let's go through a little bit more of a rotation. Right, so I'm going to put down my bones, my flame, go back to my back bar, and start casting my skulls. And we're going to keep it simple to these 3 skills. Okay, I'm seeing my bones just drop, so light attack bone, switch bars, light attack flame, and keep going. You can see I casted a little bit too fast there, even again, because I'm not getting my light attacks. If you're not getting your light attacks off, you need to slow down. So there's the bone, there's the wall of elements again, and keep going. And right here, guys, we have about 30,000 damage. This is 31,000 DPS. Now, of course, I do have spell power potions going on, and I have some pretty good gear. But it's as simple as this. The rotation's not that hard in the beginning. And if you run out of Magicka, look, I put in a heavy attack. Switch bars. Keep going. Right, so you want to reapply those damage over times every time they drop, right? Just keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that. Practice, practice, practice. Get the timing down, and you'll be able to do something more crazy. Now, let me see if I can. Here's what I'll do. I'm running the Lover right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get more Magicka recovery just so I can show you guys this rotation a little bit more. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and sit on the actually, let's just reset the 3 mil dummy. This will be a good test. Now I'll show you what it looks, what a full rotation will look like. Okay. So now these blast bones that I'm going to be summoning, I'll be summoning those, and then they take a little bit of time to explode. So I summon 1 blast bone every 3 skills. So you'll see, I'll count it out, right? So first I'm going to go ahead and drink my potion, get my skeletal mage up, and then let's put down our dots first. 1 dot, 2 dot. Okay, here comes up the mage. Now 1 attack, 2 attacks. Now I get my blast bones up again. 1 attack, 2 attacks. Get my blast bones up again. Get my graveyard and my flame wall back up. Boom. Now on my other bar, this drops. So I'm going to get my skeleton mage back up. Blast bones, graveyard, and you see I'm casting a lot of spells, so it can get really complicated. That's why practice makes perfect, right? Talking through this, I can't even do a very good parse while talking. It's that kind of intensive. Until you do this over and over and over, it's going to be a while. So I'm casting a lot of abilities here, and I'm doing light attacks in between every single ability. You can see I only have 33 damage. I did drop my penetration a little bit, but you know, it does take a lot of practice. On a 6 million dummy, I've been able to get up to 50 mil. But again, you just saw me miss a light attack. So you want to focus, make sure you're getting those light attacks. And we're almost done. But again, guys, if you put too many skills into your rotation and you're not ready for it, your damage is gonna drop a lot. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. I was pulling 33,000 DPS a minute ago. I guess I did have the Lover, so that changed it a little bit. But again, keep it simple until you get the rotation down, right? You can see a lot of other skills on my bar aren't really damaged, right? This is my healer. This is my armor. I didn't use my ultimate. I didn't really want to throw that in. So yeah, that's kind of what weaving is. Remember, guys, it's just, let me do something so it's easy to see. Light attack, skill, light attack, skill, and then when I click, it's 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Right? You just gotta get that timing down. That way, when you're at a boss fight, you're like, okay, I know, my fingers know what to do. You know? Like, I bring that guy up, 1 2, I bring him up again, 1 2, bring him up again, 1 2. Oh, my damage over time. There's 1, there's 2. Okay? Just like that. One last thing before I go, guys. Another trick you might use after you get advanced. You can see if I were to sit here and cast Blast Bones over, the Graveyard over and over, see how long this animation takes? Right? Now watch this. Ready? You want to know why that one wasn't as long? Let's do it again, okay? Normal rotation right here. Let me get the light attacks in. Now here's a fast one. Ready? That's because I bar swapped. Now skills like Graveyard, let's go ahead and cast it in bar swap. You see you can bar swap, which is basically just switching bars. I have it quick bounce, like most people do. So halfway through the animation, right after I cast the animation, I wait like maybe a quarter of a second, and I switch bars. So you can do that with both your this right here and this. Ready? It'll look like this. 1 2 1 2 1. See, one of those times I did it a little bit too fast. It didn't even go off. So you got to get that timing down. But it's just like this attack weaving, right? If you try and go too fast, See, I missed a whole attack there. It's a lot of damage you miss by going too fast, so you really gotta, I can't stress it enough, sit in front of the dummy. Practice, 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 practice. A lot of people keep changing their gear over and over and over, keep changing their skills, even go as far as making a new character. And it's simple things like this that they need to get down first before they do anything else. It's not the gear, it's not the wrong skills. I mean, don't get me wrong, let's not use one piece of each set. Let's try and stick to 2 5-piece sets and a monster helm if you can. But a lot of the damage comes from rotation, right? So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I'm happy to answer questions. I do stream 5 to 7 days a week, about 6 hours to 8 hours, maybe more. So if you guys want to catch me on Twitch, I'll leave the link down below. Feel free to follow, ask questions. I love talking to people while streaming, so it's a really easy way. I have chat like right here, so if you send me a message while I'm streaming, I'll see it. I'll be like, reply to you. I can even go over this, you know. I can even suggest maybe a build for you depending on if you're Stamina or Magicka. I'm more of a Magicka character myself. I'm running a Magicka Necro right now. In fact, I probably have more achievement points than any other Necromancer, at least at the recording of this video, at the date of the recording. I've been pushing out as many achievement points as I can, trying to be #1. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching again. I really do appreciate it. If you really liked the video, consider subscribing and liking, and so on and so forth. Take care, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.